Hello, in this tutorial I would like to show you how to crochet in the round, but not to make a round shape like this one starting with a magic ring, but instead to make an oval shape, like here with Freddy the Frog. Now the oval shape is based on exactly the same principle as we use for round shapes. So for example, this is a pattern to increase in the round. So we'd start with a magic ring with 6 stitches, and then for each subsequent row we need to add 6 stitches. We do that by making 6 increases. So if we go from the magic ring with 6 and we make 6 increases, then we have 12 stitches. So we've increased by 6. So for the third row, we also make 6 increases, but we're going to make 1 single crochet in between. So single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, to get to 18. So in essence, what we're doing is we have this little sequence consisting of a number of single crochets plus an increase that we repeat 6 times in order to build up the shape. Now an oval works in exactly the same way, except we're cutting the round shape in half and we're pulling it apart a little bit to add a couple of straight stitches in the middle. So with straight, I mean that you would add 1 stitch to 1 stitch below with no increases in between. Now the number of straight stitches we need depend on the size of the oval. So Freddy is quite a small guy, so we only need 3 stitches in the straight, whereas on this Kindle cover, the owl's head is a much bigger oval, and there we had a lot more stitches in the straight. Alright, so to start the oval, we are going to create a chain. To make a chain, you start with a slip knot. So I make an X, I grab the yarn, and I pull the knot tight. Alright, so starting from the slip knot, we're now going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we are ready to make our first row of single crochet stitches, but we're going to start in the second chain from the hook, not the first. So our first chain is going to become the starting chain of the row, so it's going to bend upwards and become part of the single crochet. So we insert the hook in the second chain, we grab the yarn, we pull it through. Now we have 2 loops on the hook. We grab the yarn and pull through, and that is a single crochet. Now we need to make 3 more single crochets. So 1, 2, 3. And now you will see there is 1 chain left. So this is our end. And here we are going to make 3 single crochets all into this 1 chain. So 1, 2, and 3. Right, so now we've basically turned around and we're ready to work on the other side of the chain. What I like to do is I always like to chain or to crochet over my tails. It just makes it neater, it keeps them in place, it secures them, but also it means you don't have to work them away later. Alright, so we have 3 single crochets in the end. So now we need 3 single crochets in the straight. So 1 single crochet in each chain. So 1, 2, 3. And that leaves us with one chain space, but you might notice that we already have a single crochet in here, so we only need to make 2 more to create the end. So 1 and 2. All right. So in essence, we now have a sort of an extended magic ring. So you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 to create the round, and in between we have a straight section of 3 on each side. Now the problem is that our beginning and our end is here in the middle of our half round, which means that you would start the row with part of it, have the straight section, 1 half round, straight section, and then the other part of the first half round. This gets a bit more complicated when later on we start staggering the increases to create a more even round shape. If we always have the increases in exactly the same position, the oval becomes lopsided. So all of that together means that the pattern becomes quite complicated and annoying. But we can simplify things a lot by moving our starting stitch forward with 1. So this would normally be our starting stitch, but if I go back in, if I make a slip stitch into this first stitch, the slip stitch now becomes the last stitch, and our starting stitch becomes this first single crochet in the straight. So it's moved up with 1. So to make things easier, I like to mark my stitches using a different colored yarn, like this yellow. And I weave that through the end stitch, so I always know where I am. All right, so just to double check, we have 1, 2, 3 straight, then we have 1, 2, 3 around, 1, 2, 3 straight, and 1, 2, 3 in the round. And that means we're ready to start on row 2. So now we would make the 3 straight single crochet stitches. So 1, 2, 3. And now normally with a round, in our second row you would have 6 increases. So we will have 3 increases on this side. So 1 increase. Remember, an increase is basically just 2 single crochets into 1. So that's our second increase. And our third. And now we need 3 straight. 1, 2, 3, and then 3 increases. All right, and then since this is the last stitch, I am going to grab the marker and weave it through. There we go. So this is now row 1 and 2 for our starting oval.